So it's been a while, but the NASA RallyCross Challenge is coming back for more here at the Croft RallyCross circuit for the officially called British RallyCross Grand Prix here in the United Kingdom for round number 1 of the 2013 NASA RallyCross Challenge season presented by Rockstar Energy Drink. Hello everyone, it's Josh Mertz up here in the commentary box along with Dylan Livingood. Apologize for that little graphic error. Our tech guys didn't exactly get the right graphic up, but it's Josh Mertz and Dylan Livingood up in the commentary box, bringing you the call for today's race. But before we get started, you guys remember this, don't you? ASN social media, as you can follow us in numerous ways. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/automotive sports network, twitter.com/ASNTV_USA to join the conversation, hashtag ASNTVUSA on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and even YouTube now with the new Google comment system. ASN On Demand is youtube.com/ASNTVUSA. ASN Live is twitch.tv/ASNTVUSA. Ignore that ASNTV.us link. If you type it in, it'll bring you to a site that does not exist, as we have yet to migrate our sites. And for any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions regarding broadcast, email us at any time at asntvusa@gmail.com. As this broadcast is brought to you by Java Shot Designs, if you need any painting done for any of your racing interests, you can contact Adam Sweet at his page at facebook.com/javashotdesigns. And I do believe he now has a website. I believe off the top of my head it's javashotdesigns.com. But if not, don't come crying to us. How mean am I? Anyway, hello Dylan Livingood, how are you?
I'm doing great. Getting ready to see some awesome racing here at Croft. Always an exciting race. And can't wait to get things underway.
Speaking of getting things underway, heat number 1, cars are rolling out. As you're going to notice, there are 3 Citroens on the screen currently. As there is Josh Mertz in the Citroen for the Red Bull Citroen Total World Rallycross team, as his 2 cars flanking him are his junior cars, Luke Fleming and Jacob Kraus, and there's Chris Wetz, as Wetz has pulling out of his pit stall. There he is in the K1 car, so it's K1 Revolution Racing, the Works Mitsubishi, the quadruple defending Constructors Champions, as it's Chris Wetz on pole, followed by Luke Fleming, it's Jacob Kraus, Josh Mertz, then Luke Fleming. That's your grid for heat number 1. Here at Croft, you have the 4 pass. You have to take them once. It's for every single race, so we figured you don't need a special graphic. So it's 3 Citroens and a Mitsubishi. The top 2 advance. Make your picks. Who's going to get through?
You know, I really like this new car that Chris Wetz has pulled out of the Revolution stable here. I think, with a brand new paint job, brand new car, I think he's really got a lot to prove, but we've seen him time and time again pull races out consistently, and hopefully he can pull another one out here.
It's down to turn 1. Sorry to cut you off. It's Mertz. Kraus goes off the road, followed by Fleming, as Kraus is stuck in... I thought he was stuck in the wall, but he's not. As it's Mertz, Fleming, Wetz, and Kraus looks like he's probably going to lead after the first lap as he takes his Gymkhana jump and lands it, hits the wall, and nearly flips, but leading through the off-road section is Mertz, Fleming, and Wetz.
You see, it was really important for Kraus to capitalize on that clear track in front of him because all 3 other cars ended up going in the off-road section right behind each other. That creates a lot of smoke.
Teammates, contact! And it's Kraus and Fleming! As Fleming unknowingly, didn't see Kraus there obviously, pulled out and got hit by Kraus, and that's really been an issue every single season we come here. That's such a blind exit. You have no idea if a car is just going to blindside you or not.
I was just talking about clean track, but that merge together there definitely gets crowded from time to time. We saw it end up biting drivers there.
As Mertz will go around his Gymkhana lap, he will lead at the end of lap number 2. To the pit lane goes Chris Wetz, so the Revolution Racing crew will pit the car. As I mentioned earlier, they are the quadruple Works Constructors Champions. The only time they were interrupted was by the MRT squad in 2012B, so they want to make it 4 times in a row with the 5th. As Mertz takes it to the pit lane, but with these 3 Citroen wants a championship. They don't have a championship, as the only championship they have is that MRT championship, but they don't count it because they did not own the team. So Mertz is pitting, so is Fleming, and so is Kraus, so we'll see how Wetz cycles through.
Yeah, these Citroens definitely have a lot to prove as far as pitting goes. Obviously, when you win 4 Constructors World Championships, you can afford the better teams, maybe get a little bit faster pit stop, but Josh Mertz with an excellent pit stop there.
As he takes the white flag for heat number 1, as he drifts it into turn 1, it's going to be Wetz in second, and Fleming and Kraus. I do believe Fleming's chance of transferring was destroyed by the contact from his teammate, as Mertz is going to take the short lap. We will see where Wetz will go. I believe he hasn't taken his short lap yet. No, he hasn't. So around the final corner, it's going to be Mertz winning Heat 1 in Croft, followed by Chris Wetz. And it looks like the 2 Citroen Junior cars are the first 2 to the LCQ in 2013C.
Yeah, I think their inexperience really showed that race. Chris Wetz and Josh Mertz, obviously veterans in the series. They're, showing that they know what to do early on here at Croft.
So we're going to roll it back and take a look at the start, as it was a relatively clean start, but I didn't want to interrupt you as you were talking and making your picks as to who would get through. We're going to find it right here as they take off. Having a little technical difficulty here. One moment. So here we are. They're on the grid. We're going to take another look at this start. It's the Revolution Mitsubishi, the Junior Citroen, the Citroen, and another Junior Citroen. And I don't really saw who got the whole shot. We're going to see here. Wetz is on the inside. Then it was Fleming. No, it was Kraus, Mertz, Fleming, excuse me, as my mind got a little bit tangled there. Fleming got the jump, 3 wide, with Wetz, Kraus, and Mertz. Mertz slowly got the jump. Fleming and... Oh, wow, Mertz really cut his teammate off. Kraus dove it into the corner and drove it off the road. And that's pretty much all she wrote for that. And we're going to take another quick look, while we have the time, to the contact between the Citroen Junior teammates. We're just going to have to use the helicopter because the other 3 camera angles aren't exactly great. It's going to be half speed, and we're going to see Luke Fleming merge. You see Kraus on the right. Fleming's going to merge, and Jacob Kraus has no idea he's going to come out there, and contact ensues between the teammates, and Chris Wetz sneaks through there as Fleming nearly flipped over. So good save, or good avoidance, I should say, by Chris Wetz in car number 2. So those 2 are the 2 drivers. It's going to be Mertz and Wetz through to the final already. And we're going to get Heat 2 up momentarily here, as we have 8 cars that will race. I believe there's 5 provisionals, as the 2 Volkswagen cars, apparently they couldn't get their cars built in time. They have a few upgrades from last season. The dominant cars from the end of the season last season, as those 2... It was Brandon Lambert and Tanner Smith, and I believe they won the last 2 races of the season.
Yeah, I really would have liked to see them on grid here. Unfortunate that they couldn't get their cars prepared in time. I really think they would have showed what they had here at Croft, just like they did last season.
So we have the cars on the grid here for heat number 2. There's the second of 2 heats today. It's going to be Dylan Livingood on pole, your triple defending drivers champion. He came in this race as a double defending champion last season, blew his engine. Hopefully we won't have that happen again. In second place will be Brandon Lambert, but he's not here. The officials thought that he was going to be here, and he wasn't. Then it's going to be Keith Sherman in his Subaru, but he's driving a Ford, so we'll figure that out eventually. The other Citroen of Cody Erdman, and then Tristan Hagenstein will be the other... the 4th car in this heat, as like we mentioned, Lambert lodged an entry, and an hour before practice was due to start, his team said, our car's not finished, so they had to withdraw their entry. And it's really unfortunate, as Dylan said, because the Volkswagen cars, their first season competing in the NASA RallyCross Challenge, much like the WRC, they won the Manufacturers' Championship. And quite easily, they did that. So they have the package in the Polo R, but they have to get it to the track in order for it to be dominant. As we're revving them up for heat number 2, it's Livingood, Sherman, Erdman, and Hagenstein. It's lights out, away we go. Very slow start for all four competitors as we roar down to turn number 1.
Yeah, Dylan Livingood with a great advantage there. That's definitely going to favor him throughout the rest of the race here. Clean track is key at this track.
Let's see who goes where. Livingood off-road, Hagenstein off-road, Sherman off-road. The only one to do something different will be Cody Erdman in the Citroen in his special camo moonshine car. As you saw, Mertz had his car. As Erdman to the pit lane, the two senior Citroens are running their own personal sponsors for this race, while the junior team obviously running Red Bull. So, out of the corner, these three drivers have the off-road lap done. At the end of lap 1, Livingood leads.
Yeah, I really thought Cody would be able to open up a little bit of a lead there, get some more clear track. I'm kind of questioning his strategy pitting early on here. Gonna put him back in traffic. Hopefully it doesn't for him, but definitely harder to get around people when you got to fight through traffic.
As Livingood to Gymkhana, so is Hagenstein, and Sherman will pit. I wasn't hoping that they were going to take the same strategy as Livingood on two wheels, and Hagenstein over in the Gymkhana section, so that will ruin his possible chance of getting through, as no, Sherman overruns his pit stall, so the two Ford cars are having issues.
Yeah, those are the two toughest courses. Well, every course here is tough. But the Gymkhana section is just so uneven throughout there that it upsets the car, and if you just get a little bit too much weight to one side, you end up flipping over, like we just saw Tristan do.
To the pit lane, Livingood. So the Revolution Racing crew, as I mentioned 3 times before, the defending quadruple champions, trying to get their man out. And Hagenstein will filter through to the lead, but he has not pitted yet. So I believe this is the white flag lap. We'll try and check that, because I got messed up on my lap count here. As Hagenstein leads, followed by Livingood, Erdman, and Sherman. Oh my, Keith Sherman! Oh no, they have to fix that car, as he's not blocking the pit lane. This is the white flag lap, as Livingood will have to take the short lap here. As second place is Hagenstein, but he's going to lose that as he is pitting. As the Revolution Racing driver, the world champion, will get through to the final. He wins Heat 2, followed by Erdman. So these two drivers will get through. Hagenstein will have to settle for third and get through to the LCQ, as the marshals are hurriedly trying to get Keith Sherman off of the wall so they don't have to postpone the LCQ.
And this is really what Livingood needed. Croft has always been his kryptonite. And so in order to, coming out here and winning that race, definitely probably going to boost some pride in his camp.
So we're just going to take a look at Sherman's wreck, as it was pretty remarkable. As I believe he was trying to take the Gymkhana section, but he missed completely, and oh wow, the Mangled Metal Motorsports team will have to... It's kind of a good thing that's their Ford car, because I believe they entered Subarus, or they wrote on their entry list Subaru, so I think you can write off that Ford Focus, and they can quickly get their delivery of their Subaru Imprezas in for Valkensward.
Kind of a cruel twist of fate here, with their team name being Mangled Metal Motorsports. Definitely some Mangled Metal there, going end over end. Not the way
Mr. Pun.
Not the way you want to start off your day here at Croft.
As we're getting ready for the LCQ, as we have the drivers working their way onto the circuit here. As a few satellite issues, apologize for that. There we go. As everyone on the track for the LCQ and at the grid, it's going to be Tristan Hagenstein, Keith Sherman, Jacob Kraus, and Luke Fleming, as I see a lot of duct tape on that Keith Sherman car. So I really hope that car is going to be stable for the LCQ. So here we go. It's 4 laps, and the top 2 will get through to the final, and it's lights out, away we go. Let's see who gets the hole shot off the line. It looks like Fleming does. Fleming gets it. Hagenstein trying to counter. Sherman gets shoved over into the first corner. Who's going to make it first? It's going to be Hagenstein. Off the road, maybe goes Fleming. Sherman with a nice pass, but beaten and banging nearly Fleming and Sherman off the road is Kraus. So let's see who goes where. Hagenstein and Fleming to the off-road section. Kraus is going to Gymkhana jump, and Sherman will take to the pit lane. Kraus with another ugly Gymkhana jump, but... So we have 3 different strategies so far, and it looks like Kraus will lead at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, maybe not the best line for Luke here behind the Ford of Tristan Hagenstein. A lot of, like I say time and time again, a lot of dust being kicked up in that off-road section makes it tough driving behind someone.
It's kind of a win-lose situation. I mean, on most dirt roads, you'd have the groove, you'd have the racing line, but then you'd have all that dust. So if you could see through the dust, that'd be great. And you could have the racing line. So jumping is Hagenstein. To the pit lane goes Fleming, so we'll see what the Citroen Junior team can do. And he is going to stop in the pit lane. And Hagenstein will lead at the end of lap number 2 as Kraus nearly... Oh, wow! Big impact for Kraus.
Scary moment for Kraus there. It looks like he's going to get it flipped back over on all 4 wheels and get going here. Scary moment. Glad to see him okay after that one.
That was... I was almost about to say karma for what happened to Fleming in the heat race. As we're on lap number 3 now, and Hagenstein will take it to the pit lane. So the Team Klondike team, I believe they won the Privateer Cup in, I believe it's either 2012B or 2012C. So they are the only privateer on track. So they will be guaranteed the privateer lead at the end of this race. As Kraus and Hagenstein pit, Fleming, Gymkhana, and Sherman, I believe, is going to pit as well. So white flag, and it's getting good. Fleming leads, Hagenstein second, and I believe they both have to take their short course. So let's see who will win. You don't get a bonus point for the LCQ win. You only get bonus points for the heat wins. But pride is on the line. Who will win the first LCQ of the season? It's Luke Fleming in the Citroen Junior Team car, followed by Hagenstein in the Great Lakes Motorsports Ford. Hagenstein dives to the inside. Can he get it? Fleming slides through the final corner. They're almost beating and banging. Out of the final corner, Fleming is loose. And at the line, it's Hagenstein who wins the LCQ.
Perfect pass by Hagenstein in that last corner. That last corner is really racy. If you can get underneath someone, you got a pretty good shot coming down to the line, and we saw Tristan do just that.
So unfortunately, those two gentlemen, Jacob Kraus and Keith Sherman, will have to pack it up and watch the final from atop their pit gantries. Unfortunate for them, but it is how it is here in RallyCross. Only the top 2 in the LCQ advance. And judging by what we just saw, the final will probably be insane.
Yeah, definitely a lot of cars lifting up tires, getting sideways. Oh, I can't wait for the final.
As I'm not sure about the other tire suppliers, but Bridgestone publicly announced they have really, really grippy tires. It's not against the rules because obviously everyone else has grippy tires, but Bridgestone released, there we go, if I could speak, their notice that they have grippy tires. That's all they said, but that's why there's tires up off the ground and everything else, cars bouncing everywhere. I would believe it involves the pressures, but I'm not exactly an expert on that.
And we're definitely seeing drivers struggle with it, especially when they're transitioning from different surface types. When they're coming from that really loose dirt, they think they can slide it sideways coming back onto that asphalt, but that asphalt with this tire combination just carries so much grip that it's really easy to flip the car if you're not easy getting back onto the track.
So here we go. For the final, it's going to be Josh Mertz on pole, followed by Dylan Livengood. So the 2 title protagonists from every single season, we saw them tangle a couple seasons ago, they will be on the first 2 gates. Followed by Chris Wetz and Cody Erdman. So the 2 works teams that have been fighting all throughout the NASA RallyCross Challenge history will be on the front row, followed by the Privateer Ford of Tristan Hagenstein and the Semi-Works Ford of Luke Fleming. We mentioned that Tristan Hagenstein, Great Lakes Motorsports, they will lead the Privateer Championship. Citroen Jr. will lead the Semi-Works Championship, as the other entries are not here. They have to take 4 laps each of the paths once. There are up to 3 red flags, although Croft is a really, really strung out circuit, really involved on strategy, so we should not see a red flag, as I don't believe we've ever had one here at Croft, but you never know, as we're revving them up for round number 1 of the 2013 NASA RallyCross Challenge season here at Croft, and it's lights out, away we go, and off the line, let's see who gets the jump. It looks as though it's Livingood and Mertz, as going into corner number 1, they will be going, Mertz and Livingood side by side. Mertz slips through, Livingood, Wetz, Erdman, Hagenstein, and Fleming is your running order. Let's see where everyone goes. It's going to be Mertz and Livingood to the off-road section, so is Erdman and Hagenstein. Wetz will take to the pit lane, as it's going to be getting good here, as Livingood's right on the back bumper. He goes to the inside of the dirt section. We've never seen that before. As around the dirt section they go, we can't really see, but from the helicopter, Livingood will sneak into the lead, followed by Mertz. As you can see, Mertz is pushing like mad to try and catch his friend. And off of the dirt section, Mertz is going to... Oh, no, he's flipping! Oh, the bad luck continues for the 2012 beat champion. So Livingood leads, Erdman, Hagenstein, Fleming, Mertz, and then Wetz at the end of lap 1.
Unusual to see Mertz make a mistake like that. I kind of question if he could be rattled by that pass that Dylan Livingood made on him. It was just driver versus driver, mano-y-mano, and Livingood came out on top through the dirt section, which is unheard of at Croft.
So we saw Tristan Hagenstein on 2 wheels, about another mention of those grippy tires. At the end of lap 2 already, Dylan Livingood leads, as Hagenstein will filter through to second. Mertz is up to third, and if you remember from Valkenswaard-Croft last season, you might want to just pull over, because he's quite mad. The 2 Citroens of Erdman and Fleming out of the pit lane, and Wetz. I think Wetz just pitted again, so we will try and get information on why he's pitting again.
Maybe a technical issue on that car, not sure.
As Livingood, he stalled it! No, he didn't. I think he was propped on the wall. As battling into the pit lane go Hagenstein and Mertz, and at the end of the 3rd lap, I believe this is the white flag now, it's going to be Livingood leading in car number 1.
Be interested to see how that bobble is going to affect Dylan Livingood here. Looks like he had quite an advantage at the end of lap 1, but as the strategy starts filtering down, I'm not sure if he's going to have the delta here.
As the 2 Citroens are going to be battling as they're wrecking each other. That's not exactly what Josh Mertz envisioned. So it's going to be a battle for second, it looks like, as Livingood takes it to the pit lane. Let's see if the Revolution Racing crew can get him out. Remember first season, he overshot his pit box, he lost the race. It's a battle for second between Hagenstein and Mertz. Fleming's in 4th, as the right side is jacked up. Remember, NASCAR-style pit stops for this series. Mertz is pushing like mad. Hagenstein is pushing like mad. It's going to be a battle to the death. Mertz is sideways, nearly making contact. He spun it around. It's going to be a battle to the line. Livingood out of the pit lane. Hagenstein in second. No! Livingood wins in Croft, followed by Hagenstein. Mertz had to settle for 3rd. Erdman is 4th. 5th is Luke Fleming. And Chris Wetz will have to settle for 6th. And let me catch my breath. Wow.
Some great side-by-side racing there going into the final turn. Mertz really had to capitalize on that position on Tristan Hagenstein. Tristan Hagenstein with a great finish. We never see him up front very often. I kind of figured at the beginning of this he'd be a dark horse, and sure enough, he put on an excellent show here at Croft. I was beginning to think that the privateer cars weren't getting factory support, at least a couple parts once in a while. I don't know if Tristan Hagenstein is getting parts from Ford, but if he isn't, please, Ford, give him a factory ride, as that was quite the drive by the Dutch driver. As we're going to take a look at the start and the wreck between the 2 Citroens. Well, let's just take a look at whatever comes to mind. We're going to take a look at the start first, as that probably was one of the more interesting starts, as there were 2... It almost looked like a NASCAR-style restart, as we had 3 rows of 2. Yeah, and we saw Living Good get a jump early, and then Mertz just got through the gears way better than Living Good did. Was able to take that hole shot into turn number 1 and lead the pack down, and it was kind of interesting to see all the other cars follow behind him in that off-road section.
So here we go, side by side, Mertz and Living Good. Mertz does not want to repeat of last season, so he just drives it in there, locks it up. Living Good, Wetz, Erdman, Hagenstein, and Fleming. So now we're going to take a look. Actually, we can keep that shot going. We are going to keep it rolling here. And let's go from inside Dylan Living Good's car. Watch this pass on Josh Mertz. Sneaks to the inside, finds the hole, surprises the 81, and away he goes. And we're going to go on the back end, if we can, of the one car. There we are. And see if the 81 hit the wall. I don't believe he did. He was just caught out by the grip change.
Yeah, and Living Good just executed perfectly. He saw that advantage going into that little kink there that we have set up and just dominated through that dirt section.
So another one that we are going to take a look at are the two Citroen's woes, as the new teammates, Luke Fleming and Cody Erdman. Granted, they're on separate teams, but they're still teammates, if that made any sense. We're going to see here, Erdman's going to lead Fleming into the Gymkhana section. And here we go. Erdman's going to take the Gymkhana chicane. Fleming's going to take it much better as Erdman nearly flips. He does flip. They're both going again. Erdman tries to take the advantage. Fleming bounces off the wall, and they make contact. So that was that. And let's take a look on board of from the co-driver's seat, as we do have there is a co-driver's seat, but there's a camera mounted in it. Let's take a ride in the co-driver's seat of Josh Mertz's Citroen on this final lap and see how that he even thought it would work, as he's so far back from Hagenstein, under braking for turn 1. I don't think anybody else brakes that late into turn 1.
Yeah, he was definitely hard charging that entire last lap. You saw it, he was pushing as hard as he could.
As it looks like Hagenstein tried to block, Mertz is sideways, and he lost the car into the final corner. That's all Hagenstein needed to sneak second place away from the 81.
And again, we can't take any credit away from Tristan Hagenstein here. He put on a great drive this whole weekend. I mean, I almost counted him out. And then with his dominating performance in the LCQ, it's great to see him get a second place finish here. Definitely something that he doesn't do very often.
As it's time for the anthems, and we will go through the results here from Croft. Your winner is Dylan Livingood in car number 1. So he gets max 21 points, as the point standings are the same, so we'll just go through them as well. Tristan Hagenstein has 17 as he finished second. Josh Mertz won his heat, so he has 16 points in third spot. Cody Erdman, P4 with 13 points. Luke Fleming, 5th place with 12. Chris Wetz is 6th with 11 points. Jacob Kraus, 7th place with 10 points. And Keith Sherman finished 8th. He has 9 points. And then 9th through 13th in points, Brandon Lambert, Tanner Smith, Caleb Paul, Adam Simons, Nick Cars. They all asked for provisionals because they knew they weren't going to be here. So 9th through 13th, 8 points down to 4. The Manufacturers Championship has the top 3 from the race, and the fastest, or the highest Subaru was Sherman in 7th, and the Volkswagen did not start. So there's the United States anthem playing now for Revolution Racing, as they are leading in the Works Constructors Championship by 3 points over Citroen, and then a further 14 points back is Volkswagen, and 2 points behind them is the Mangled Lemons Racing team. As mentioned earlier, the only Semi-Works team so far is the Citroen Junior team, as the deal for the Delicia race team from Brazil, I don't believe that team has yet gotten anything set up, but we will let you know if we know anything. So the only team in the Semi-Works Championship so far is Citroen Junior. They have 22 points, running uncontested. Privateers has Tristan Hagenstein, Great Lakes Motorsports, 11 points over No Fear Racing and Caleb Paul, and a point back is Adam Simons for ATN Autosport. The Nations Cup, like the manufacturers, the top three, Canada, Netherlands, and Germany, are the same. The United States, 5th place for Luke Fleming. They have 12 points. And Norway, with Tanner Smith, 7 points, as he did not start the race today. So as the anthems finish here, we will now hear the Japanese anthem for Mitsubishi, and some interesting stats while we wait, as we don't want to be rude and completely have a conversation over the anthems, as I believe Japanese for Mitsubishi. Let's see. There we go. So, interestingly enough, it's a three-way tie for second in wins. Chris Wetz, Cody Ehrman, Dylan Livingood, they still have 3 to catch Josh Mertz. Revolution has 1 more to tie Citroen. Mitsubishi and Subaru are tied for first in manufacturer wins. The United States still has that lead over 3 from Germany. So, the Japanese anthem has been playing a lot, so has the United States anthem, and so is the Canadian anthem. And I love those anthems, but I would love to hear some parody. We could hear so many different anthems. How about the Dutch anthem, the French anthem, just any other anthem? As, no disrespect, but we don't want to see a dominating season and have the same anthems playing every single race. So as the Japanese anthem finishes up, Dylan, do you have any final thoughts, comments?
You know, an interesting note, I think the drivers that show dominance early on, unless you're Josh Mertz in 2012B, they tend to fizzle out about halfway through the season. We see another contender coming in. I'm not sure if this is going to be Dylan Livingood's season, although we've never seen him win at Croft here, or, you know, really do that well. Croft has really been his kryptonite, like I said earlier. So it'll be interesting for sure to see if he is able to keep his momentum up through the season, or if we're going to have another challenge for that top spot in the championship.
Because I do believe it was Elliott Porterfield for the first part of 2012A. Then he got injured and couldn't race. 2012B it was Mertz. 2012C it was Mertz, and he choked away in Negus, and then it was Livingood's championship. 2013A, David Krikorian ran until Germany, and he withdrew his entry. 2013B, I believe it was Tanner Smith, Livingood, Mertz, and then Livingood came out on top. So here we are in 2013C, and who knows what will happen as Livingood leads the points. So for one last time, here today, ASN social media, Facebook.com/Automotive Sports Network, Twitter.com/ASNTV_USA, hashtag ASNTVUSA, YouTube.com/ASNTVUSA, Twitch.tv/ASNTVUSA. And for any broadcast inquiries, comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions, you can email us at any time at asntvUSA@gmail.com. As this broadcast was brought to you by Java Shot Designs, if you need any painting done for any of your racing interests, you can contact Adam Sweet at his page at Facebook.com/Java Shot Designs. So an exciting race here at Croft has a new winner here, as he's never won here before. As up here in the commentary box, it's been a pleasure calling the race. Josh Mertz alongside Dylan Livingood. And next week, we will be in the Netherlands, and we will see if Dylan Livingood can make it 2 in a row at that track and this season so far. So from all of us here at the Automotive Sports Network, we are happy that you are able to watch this race. We will see you next week in the Netherlands. But until then, so long, everyone.